Hi, this is Consultant Expert with Francisco. Thank you for listening. We're going to talk today about Itin and Itin Renewal. It's a very broad subject matter, but we're going to try to limit it down to focus on exactly what an Itin is and about the renewal. So first of all, Itin number, the IRS created several years ago so that people that could not obtain a Social Security number could obtain a number to do taxes. Now, it's a little tricky. It doesn't mean that you're here legally to work, but it'll allow you to be able to report taxes, and it's very important to do, especially for immigrants that don't have anything, because number one, it proves the presence that you're here, and we have a lot of attorneys sometimes send us clients to do the tax returns, and it shows that you're also doing your tax obligation and filing your taxes. So I encourage people that don't have an Itin number to get an Itin number. You can come to our office and we can explain a little more in depth. But what is required to get an Itin number is probably what a lot of you are thinking. And what is required is original documentation. About 2 years ago, the IRS changed regulations that you can't send in copies or certified copies. It has to be original documentation, meaning I'll come in, we fill out a W-7, going to file a tax return, and you have to send an original passport, for an example, that's unexpired. If you do not have a passport, we're going to attach, you're going to be able to see a little piece of paper of supporting documentation. So passport, no problem. Without a passport, it's going to be 2 forms of identification. For an example, if without a passport, it could be a birth certificate original, and also, let's say in Mexico, a voter's card. Right? And each country is a little different because some IDs that here the IRS does not accept. So you'll see the attached list, and any questions you can give us a call about that. But basically, come in, fill out the W-7 with the original documentation, passports we'll say, to keep it simple, and file a tax return. Now, it gets a little complicated when you do have spouse, you're married, and you have children. Each one needs to fill out an application, but it doesn't mean each one has to do taxes. Basically, it's married filing jointly. The spouse, let's say the husband who's working, and let's say the spouse isn't, he'll apply with the tax return, and on the tax return, married filing jointly, they'll all be, but all you need to do is a separate W-7 for each person, and then on there, the husband will be resident, living here more than 180 days, filing a tax return, and then the spouse, and then so on and so forth, the dependents. And what happens about 3 weeks later, the IRS will send back the documentation, meaning in this case passports, and then it'll just be a letter saying return supporting documentation. Then a week later you'll get the number. And so it's a very good thing to do. And now there's renewals, right? So we're going to switch. That's how you do apply. So please feel free to come into one of our offices and we can go over that with you. Been doing that for about 17 years. The law keeps changing, and this renewal process isn't one of those changes. It started about 2 years ago. And now the IRS just sent about roughly over millions of letters that people that have numbers 70, 71, 72, and 80. Their numbers will expire as of December 31st. We find that a lot of people are coming in last second. As you know, a lot of times you get mail letters and you just put them to the side. No, I encourage people that there's not much time. December 31st is like right around the corner. So come in, you got to renew these. And how do you do that? How do you renew them, and why? So why is because it will expire, right? And if you don't renew it, when you come to file your taxes thinking that, I filed taxes last year, I don't have to renew it. No, you're going to run into some serious roadblocks. It's going to be delays in refunds. In most cases, going to have to reapply. So why go through all that headache when you can just take care of it now? So how do you do that? The same form as a W-7. And now at the top, on the top right, it'll say renew, Itin renewal, or to say apply for a new one. So basically, if it's a renewal, click the renewal and send original documentation as well with that. So come on in and we go through each step, fill it out for you, the normal W-7, make sure the passport have the same number. Again, has to be unexpired. I encourage passports. If you don't have a passport, you can also review that list of documentation, which for the sake of keeping it simple, we said if the gentleman or man or woman is Mexican, an example could be birth certificate and then voter's registration card, right? But again, come in so we can go over a little more in depth as far as what that entails. So we talked today about what is an Itin number, how to obtain that Itin number, and then also the importance of renewal. Right? Sometimes people are a little scared, especially when it comes to like immigration. They're like, if I file a number, can I have problems? And no, you got to remember that with the government, every agency is separate. So basically, why would they allow you to get an Itin number when they're going to come after you or look at you? It doesn't work that way. They just want to make sure you're doing your tax obligation and filing taxes, and that's it. So I encourage people that don't have an ITIN number to come in, and those that have to renew, it's pretty urgent that you come in and do it as soon as you can. So thank you very much for your time, and have a nice day.